Welcome and a happy new year to the first video of 2018. I thought we should talk about how DB has done in the past year and talk about the 3 things we need to see from DB in 2018. But before that, let's briefly mention that I did in fact make a video with 3 wishes for DB in 2017. So, how did we do? Well, number 1. I wanted to see actual new content in the game. I think it's fair to say that we've seen a definite uptick in the number of updates we've seen added to the game, especially during the second half of last year. That's not to say it's been plain sailing. There's been balance issues and bugs creeping in, but with this more rapid cadence to the updates, I definitely take these growing pains over the months of drought we experienced before that. Number 2 on the list for last year was a slightly hand-wavy term called consistency. It was the ability to scale up resources so that game updates could be regular even when development took longer than expected. And you know what, to be honest, I've been surprised by splash damage a number of times last year. Not only did they separate from Nexon and now run the game themselves, they also massively increased the number of people working on Dirty Bomb. And don't underestimate the amount of effort and time it takes to recruit people and then get them up to speed and being productive. We've had so many more mercs and maps and features and events that I've even seen people on Reddit commenting about how maybe slowing that pace down and focusing on bugs might be an idea. And indeed, I've not been a huge fan of everything SD has said. When I heard them publicly say that they wanted a new merc every 6 to 7 weeks until the end of 2017, I winced slightly. Not only because that's a hugely ambitious timescale to work to, but also that's a rigorous and rigid timescale to be publicly stating. And sure enough, come the end of the year, the next merc, Hunter, was delayed into 2018, breaking that 7-week ambition for merc release. With the holiday events and that great new map castle and weapon skins, I don't think the lack of a new character was particularly felt by the community. But that public timescale that they stated seemed like an unneeded rod for their own backs. My third thing we needed for DB in 2017, well, that actually didn't happen. So that sounds like a perfect place to start my list for 2018, would you not say? So it was a bit of a joke when I said it last year, but also not really a joke at the same time. Yes, number 1 on the list for things we need from Dirty Bomb in 2018 is a full and proper 1.0 release. Yes, okay, before you start rolling your eyes and scoffing, there was actually an interesting development in this regard during last year. Redditor Festive Core posted links to an interim report from a company called LEYOU. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that terribly. They actually acquired the DB Dev splash damage during 2017, and in page 7 of that report, it says, the development and operation team of Dirty Bomb is expected to undergo major expansion and enhancement so as to get ready for the official release of the game in March 2018. I'll include links to the original Reddit thread and the website with the 2017 interim report below in the description if you want to read it yourself. Now, before we all start setting our countdowns for March, we need to remember a few things. This report was written last year. Indeed, the financial highlights section of this report is labelled 6 months ended 30 June. Now, I'm not pouring scorn on the report. I have every reason to believe it was accurate when it was written. I'm just saying it was written some time ago, last year. Developmental realities might mean that timescales for things have changed. For example, Hunter that was due to be released in 2017 had to be pushed into 2018. So I don't think it's unreasonable to imagine that these projected release dates for Dirty Bomb have changed too. It would seem to confirm though that the devs are pushing DB forward for a full release, something I've long advocated. We've been in beta for so long it's become a meme, and distancing the game from the swelling band of titles covered by the banner Early Access would seem like a good idea. Number 2 on the list of things we need for DB in 2018 is quality of life and general polish. Much like cleaning your apartment when new people come round, Dirty Bomb seriously needs to tidy up and put the vacuum on if it's serious about retaining new players on full release. There are long-standing bugs that seasoned players almost don't even notice anymore that would undermine DB to a new audience. To name a couple, What about in stopwatch mode during half-time, when the announcer voices are incorrect and you see the map actually reset itself and stuff like objectives pop back into being ready to play? That's been in the game for a long time. What about the warping around the EV bug? That has long plagued DB and is the focal point for so many maps. Surely you can't call the game 1.0 and have such a fundamental issue still there. First impressions really do matter for new players. The judgment on whether or not it's worth their time and money happens quickly and brutally to free-to-play titles. So if things look like they're badly made, then people aren't going to feel enthused to stick around and invest in Dirty Bomb. And yet, it's not just about the new players, is it? If you look at the numbers on a site like SteamDB, you can see that literally millions of people have tried Dirty Bomb. For the game to flourish, it could really do with some of those people trying it out again. And you know what? With new content, the new mercs, the new maps, the new interface, the new events, people might just be tempted to reinstall and have a go again. But if they return to find those old bugs still haunting the game after all that time, then all that effort that's been put into new content is going to feel really shallow. So here we come to the final thing, and perhaps the most difficult of requests. The third thing we need from Dirty Bomb in 2018. DB needs to move away from loot boxes and RNG. Let's be clear, loot boxes had a bad year in 2017. They've become a bad word, and you can point to Battlefront 2 or whoever as the straw that broke the camel's back. But it feels like the ground has shifted, and people noticed that money being linked to a gambling-like system might not be an excellent thing to have in a video game. The upside for developers is plain to see. The return on time and resources to create an in-game item is much higher if people have to rely on RNG to then get it. Many people will have to get lucky to obtain the top-tier items, and those who don't have the choice of investing heavily and hoping for the best. I've watched Jim Sterling's videos and other content for a while now. His recent video looking at the "it's just cosmetic" argument certainly strikes a tone when you look at any loot box and then have them available for money. I'll link it in the description as well. If part of the game is acquisition and collection of in-game items, then they are part of the enjoyment of the game. If part of the game is looking cool next to someone else, then cosmetics are part of the game. I can understand that the return for a developer with limited time and resources is higher with RNG loot boxes. You need to pay artists, programmers, and designers, and marketers, and producers, and managers, and so on. Each of those in-game items needs to support way more than the single artist or programmer that put it into the game. As players, we need to look at how we value games, free-to-play ones especially, and ask ourselves, how much would we be prepared to pay directly for something like a Cobalt loadout card or weapon skin? One way other titles have gone is to push it in the opposite direction. Rather than focusing on high-priced single items, what about cosmetic items that are dramatically cheaper for the developers to add into the game? This channel actually started off making PlanetSide 2 videos, but I've seen other similar systems in other titles too, not least Warframe, which I guess is an almost cousin title to Dirty Bomb now, as the developers were both acquired by LEYOU. The key to the system is using the creative skills of their communities to create in-game cosmetic items. A player submission option like Tenogen for Warframe, where talented DB artists could turn their hand to making weapon skins or trinkets or even full character skins to be added into the game. These community submissions would obviously need to be checked over by devs, but perhaps there could even be a voting system where the most supported designs were prioritized and added into the in-game store. For community artists, there could be a revenue split in sales, and moreover, it could be an opportunity for people looking to make a break into the industry. It would look good on a resume, or CV as we say in the UK, to have sales of items that you have made already under your belt. There are talented people creating art for Dirty Bomb already. Just imagine if someone like SpanishInquisition could have trinkets or other items based off popular artworks. I know I'd buy a Thinky trinket in a heartbeat. Links to Twitter and YouTube in the description as well. Somewhere out there, someone might make DB's equivalent of an Asimov or Dragonlore skin. I'm not saying the transition from the current RNG system would be easy or a quick one, but I'd really like to see other options, such as community submissions, to allow splash damage to offer more direct sales in 2018. What I'd like to know right now is, what are your top 3 wishes for DB in 2018? Do you agree with mine? Do you have a burning desire to tell me I'm wrong? Well, as luck would have it, there's a comment section below where you can comment right now with your thoughts and feelings. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider tapping that thumb up button and prodding that subscribe button. It helps me grow the channel and do more videos like this one. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at LCTRgames. There's a link in the description for that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
I'm alive, and help station right here. Hello.
Carriage B, C4 diffused. Don't